She was an incredibly headstrong, impressive, powerful woman. She ran a wonderful business empire and was incredibly generous philanthropically. They were not mutually exclusive. My family has been 5 generations of winter residents in Sarasota, Florida. My great-great-grandmother, Bertha Honoré Palmer, heard about this piece of paradise from a newspaper article 115, 120 years ago. She was married young to an older, very successful businessman, Potter Palmer. She really came into her own, helped him develop his enterprises, real estate development, and retail.
Bertha Palmer was my great-grandmother. There was a World's Fair in Chicago in 1893. It was called the Columbian Exposition, and it was recognizing the 400th year anniversary of Christopher Columbus coming to America. And she was the head of something called the Board of Lady Managers, and designed and built with architects a women's building that was a focal point of that fair, if you will. You know, in the late 1800s, early 1900s, there was very little acknowledgement of women or their attributes or their contributions or anything.
She was an international philanthropist, had traveled extensively through Europe, amassed a wonderful, very special art collection of French and American Impressionist masters, and it is now in the Art Institute of Chicago. Bertha has always been highly regarded as an astute businesswoman at a time when women weren't necessarily empowered to handle business affairs. Her husband had made a point that he passed all of his assets on his passing onto her against the advice of his professional advisors. But then she certainly proved him correct. Within 15 years of his passing, she had doubled the value of the Palmer holdings, and then still proceeding with huge acts of philanthropy. She was very attracted to the natural beauty of Sarasota. She was very interested at the business opportunities that she found. She loved the nature. She loved her properties. There's some wonderful quotes around her exercising her green thumb and finding her true happiness, gardening and building a garden at the Oaks in what is now historic Spanish Point. Bertha's mansion actually sadly burnt down in the 50s, but her property is there, all the other historic structures and the gardens that she built are still there. It's conserved. It's referred to as Historic Spanish Point. It's now part of the Greater Selby Botanical Garden campus, and it's been preserved and is a vibrant oasis on the bay in Sarasota. Her land holdings encompass what is now considered a third of the size of Sarasota County. Bertha donated the land what is now was the heart of what is now Mayaca State Park, which is a huge tract of land. Certainly the donation of that land must have been one of the earliest, if not the earliest, major act of philanthropy in our community. I love the environment. I started Conservation Foundation of the Gulf Coast, one of the early private nonprofit land trusts, land conservation organizations here. So I've done a lot of work in the environmental conservation field because we love Sarasota and people don't come here for the roads, but they come here for the natural beauty. Women in philanthropy, she would love it. She would love to lead as an example, and she would love to be used as an example. She was, in a way, if you think about it, something like the lady boards of managers at the Chicago World's Exposition was exactly this kind of example of a group of women coming together, working together for greater good, for a philanthropic cause for the community.